So, what we're going to be doing is tonight we're going to be starting our new campaign, Rise of the Sovereign. And our first game was going to be kind of like our prologue, and it will be starring our friend Danny. We will eventually have 3 players, and all of our players will be rolling new character subclasses from the new Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And the first game that we're going to be seeing tonight is going to be Danny. And Danny's character is named Vimak Volanavi. And tell us about Vimak.
He's a Goliath. He is a Rune Knight. Goliaths are very competitive. They're very into fair play, right? And they have a lot of giant type backgrounds. They see themselves almost as like descended from giants, whether that's literal or figuratively in their legendary. Very hardy folk. They live up usually in very cold, harsh, mountainous regions, and that's him in a little nutshell. So I can't wait to see what Rune Knight does.
Cool. All right, now, so in our last game, you played an Oath of Ancients Paladin. So now we're still staying in Martial, but we wanted to try the Goliath Rune Knight. Of all of what drew you to the Rune Knight over the other subclasses? Because I know you were toying with a couple different ones.
Mainly the other 2 guys went as casters. So, I didn't want us to be like Harry Potter and Hermione and
Ron Weasley.
Ron.
So you wanted to play Hagrid. You want to play Hagrid.
Yeah, there we go. You're a Rune Knight, Danny. So that was the main thing. But I was thinking about going a rogue because I figured one of them might go martial.
Right.
I was going to try what was it, the Phantom?
The Phantom was the one you were looking at, right?
A little emo, but kind of cool flavor-wise, that one was cool. But then I started looking at Rune Knight when I saw we didn't have any martial at all.
Gotcha.
So, and this one is it's so cool, and I think it marries perfectly with the Goliath.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to be playing a Goliath Rune Knight, and we're going to be starting this campaign. Everyone will be starting at level 3, so we can go ahead and immediately see the new subclass in action. And where this game starts, where the bulk of the game will be taking place in Waterdeep, our prologue begins way to the north. So we're going to go north of the Neverwinter Forest and just east of Icewind Dale. You're going to find the spine of the world, this giant mountainous region, and that is where you and your people are from. Now, Vimak, you are part of the Volanavi clan, which is a clan of Goliath that live in the shadows of this giant mountain in the spine of the world. The village that you are from is called Titan's Hearth. And it's a very hardy people, and you're very competitive, but also very defensive of your people. You are not many. Goliath don't have a lot of children, but you are mighty in your few. Now, every few years, something may happen where the elders of the group will throw a giant competition anytime a task is called upon. And in this case, something called the Sovereign has called their Oathsworn to travel to their ancestral home of Waterdeep. Now, it appears that ages ago, your clan had sworn an oath to the Sovereign. Now, no one in your clan, except maybe the elders, knows much about this. You've never even heard of it. But as soon as they said there would be a competition, something called the Crucible of Flame, you leapt at the opportunity because you were a natural athlete. You're very competitive. You're extremely strong. And you saw it as a way to prove yourself amongst your clan. After that, you competed in this and you won. And through winning that, you gained favor of the chieftain Arabarun, who is known as the Mountain Crusher, and also you got to travel just outside of town and meet with this oracle named Galma Spirit Walker. Now, Galma is an oracle, and she tells you a little bit about what the sovereign was. The sovereign refers to a guild, a loose network of an old knighthood of a broken dynasty that took place outside of Waterdeep ages ago. And at that time, your clan, and more importantly, the fire giants that y'all hail from, or you're the children of in some way, they were also in league to this sovereign. Now, while this dynasty, from their understanding, is broken, someone from that guild has called in their oathsworn. So with that, they decided to send one representative, you, and in order to do that, they needed to teach you the ancient runic magic of the giants, and that is this rune magic. Now, of course, they're going to teach you the fire rune. Now, where are you going to be putting this? This is a rune that you actually, a magic you put on a piece of armor, or a weapon, or an item on you. So where is your fire rune going to be located?
Let's put the fire rune on the mall.
Okay, so the mall. So you have
Let's go
giant,
to the mall.
the giant mall. So you have the fire rune is on the big head of the mall itself. So you know how you can evoke that to have the fire shackles come out with that. They also teach you a second rune that is something specific for what they believe the fire giants want of you, and they're giving you the cloud rune. Now, the cloud rune, while you have that on you, is going to give you advantage to your to sleight of hand checks and also to deception checks. It also, you can invoke it to kind of deflect attacks onto someone else. Interestingly enough, while your people don't adhere to the teaching and the philosophy of the cloud giants, it is the will of the chieftain and the elders. They believe that this is the rune that you will need to know for this endeavor. So where do you want the cloud rune on your person?
Let's wear that one on like a necklace.
Okay. All right. So you have like a pendant. Maybe you tuck it into your chainmail.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of clasp it. So you're trying to hide the cloud rune. So you have cloud and you have your fire rune. Okay. So where the story, so all of that happened in the past. Where the story picks up, the Oracle has sent you on this final quest to retrieve something that the Sovereign says that they need. And you are to retrieve something called the Flame of the Giant's Maw. Now, what that is kind of mysterious, but you do know that you have to climb the pinnacle in order to get there. And now, if you look at the picture that we have on Roll20, I have this picture of this village, and I also have in the distance, you see this giant mountain. That is the pinnacle. That is the peak that you're going to have to climb, part of the spine of the world of mountains. Now, where the story is going to be picking up is you, after several days of hiking and mountain climbing, you are basically scaling the side of this giant cliff, and you have in each of your hands you have your hand axes, and you also have your ice boots that are attached, and you are basically climbing the side of the mountain, and that is where we're going to pick up. So everything to this point is the setup of where we are, where you're going, and your purpose. So that is your backstory. Now we're going to get into the game itself. So the story picks up where you are basically climbing the side of this giant mountain. You look over to your side, to your right over your shoulder, and you can't even see your village anymore because you are now in the clouds itself up in the mountains. As the wind crushes across you, that cold breeze that would crush a normal mortal, it bounces off your Goliath skin. You were totally adept at this, even the oxygen being thin, with the wind and howling, and as cold as it is, you're totally used to it, and you are just beaming with this strength, knowing that this is a mighty task, simply climbing this to reach something called the Giant's Maw. So as we get started, why don't you go ahead and make your first athletics check to continue to climb up the side of the mountain. And also with that, is there anything else that you want to do? The first roll of the new campaign.
We'll just go with this. So this is athletics So this is +5.
This will be +5. Okay. 18 plus 5 will be a 23. Without a problem, you take one of your hand axes. Now, you've got them like clasped to your arms. As you reach up, you continue to climb and pull yourself up without any problem whatsoever. Periodically, this is a trick that you've learned. You'll hang off of one axe. You'll let the blood kind of come back into your arm of the other, and then you'll pick back up and continue to climb back up. You do this for a long period of time, and you get to the point where this is just easy for you to climb this massive mountain. You think to yourself that the others in your group that you bested in this crucible of the flame, this competition that you won for this honor, they would have fallen already. But you know that the strength of your bloodline, you're just seeping with this confidence that you're able to do this. You reach the very top of this pinnacle after several hours of climbing. You finally reach the top, and with that, as soon as you reach the top, you see the Giant's Maw.
That's awesome.
Now, this is not Castle Grayskull, but it's a reasonable facsimile thereof.
Even if it was, that would have been cool.
It would have been cool, right? All right, so you reach this giant pinnacle. As you walk across, as the wind is howling, you see this giant narrow path that's heading towards this Giant's Maw, this massive, opening, this cave opening. From the right eye up inside of this, you see this blue flicker come out, this flame coming out. Now, you've got probably 300 yards to go between here and there. The last half of that is going to be this narrower, 15-foot, 20-foot walkway that kind of, cuts across into the mountains. What do you want to do as soon as you see that flicker, and it for a moment it flickers and then it vanishes out of the right eye?
Okay. I just see it in the darkness of the eye when it goes away. Mm-hmm. Okay. I wonder if that's what I'm looking for. I'll just keep heading forward.
Okay.
There's no way I don't think I can get up
What
there.
are you carrying at this? Now, before you were climbing, you had your hand axes out. Are you stowing those? How are you marching across at this point?
Yeah, I'm definitely just taking a break. I imagine my arms are aching. Mm-hmm. So just kind of shaking them out as I'm walking.
All right, you take a quick break. Give me a perception check as you're kind of stowing and getting your equipment ready.
All right, it's +2.
A 6. Awesome. You would be cold, but the wind is blowing. You feel totally at ease here in the mountains. You take a step. What you didn't notice before, you kind of turn that something is barreling at you in the snow. You turn to your right. You see this giant furry beast, as tall, perhaps taller than you. As it gets closer to you, you turn, immediately roll initiative.
Straight up.
I have to reload here. All right, so roll your initiative.
17.
17, perfect. All right. My roll will be ooh. All right, we have tied, and it's a straight push. Okay. So I'm going to give it to you because I will side with the player if it's a straight tie and a straight push. All right, so we're going to keep this theater of the mind. You do see what looks to be this hair. You've heard of this before, these yetis. As this monstrous thing starts barreling towards you, you immediately grab your maul. You have initiative. Y'all are basically in a clash. What do you want to do? It's maybe 10 feet from you. You climbed up. You didn't realize that it was almost hunting you and almost waiting for you to come up. Now, you're only a few feet from this massive ledge behind you.
Okay. I'm going to bonus action.
Okay.
Giant's Might.
Okay. All right. So as soon as so before we, this is the first time you've used this ability. What does this look like? This is the Rune Knight's ability to not only gain advantage on strength as your muscles kind of bulge, you also grow in size. So you're going to go from like an 8-foot Goliath to an even larger. So now where it was barreling at you and might have been a bit larger, you actually grow in stature yourself to meet this challenge. So now your arms are bulging out. Is there anything else that other than just growing? Is there like an aura or anything with using this ability? This is your own flavor. Is there? You're just basically turning into the Hulk.
Yeah. Just like you know.
So, all right, so you're rising to the challenge of
Yeah,
this
just
massive
crawling.
yeti coming towards you with your maul. All right, so that's your bonus action. Now what do you want to do? It's 10 feet from you, running towards you.
I'm gonna run at it and swing.
Okay. All right, so you, instead of waiting for it, you move 10 feet up. You drop. You pull back the maul. Roll with advantage. Actually, no, you get advantage on strength check. So
A
I don't.
strength, it's strength check.
It's just a strength check. Yeah. So just make an
Yeah.
attack roll.
All right. So this is plus 3. Yes, I think it's plus 3.
Okay. All right,
17.
pause. I want to make sure we have this straight. So your attack with the maul, your 16, that would be plus 3, plus your proficiency is plus 5. So that would actually be a 19 to hit. So that does hit. I'm just letting you know. It's plus 3 for your strength, and then another plus 2
Oh, I
for
forgot
proficiency.
because you're bigger.
Well, no, it's
Oh,
proficiency.
okay.
Your proficiency, so it's plus 5.
Oh,
So
I got
you attack, you land a 19, so that will hit. The maul damage is going to be 2d6 plus 3. Is there anything else you want to do with it? Are you invoking a rune, or are you going to save it?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna put
The rune on
the
him?
shackles on this
Okay.
guy.
All right. So, and
Yeah.
what does that look like? So, as you bring back this maul, this is a giant maul, and you hit it with this. You slam into the chest of it. You invoke the magic of the fire giant, the fire rune. These spectral chains, these fire chains, come out, locking it to the ground. Now, it has to make a strength saving throw or be shackled to the ground. Now, it automatically takes damage. So it's going to take 2d6 plus 3 for your maul. So take another
Yeah.
2d6 damage for the fire rune. So roll 4d6 plus 3.
Let's re-roll that 2.
That's right. Reroll the 2 because of your great weapon master. Might need to. Okay, go for it. Let's roll another d6. Whoa, all 5s.
Yeah.
So that's 23 points of damage. All right, so you slam this maul into its chest. As soon as you do that, you hear you can hear and both feel bones cracking as its ribs are cracking from the maul. It stops dead cold in its tracks as you kind of push it back with the might of it. It now has to make a saving throw to see if it's now he is pretty strong. He is not. So you crush him with that. The spectral chains come around him, and now he's locked down to the ground. Now, what exactly does all that do? It not only it just is like a root. It roots him to the ground.
Yeah. So basically, they are let's see, restrained for 1 minute.
Wow.
But
Okay.
every time it gets to their turn, they take the damage, and then they can roll.
Okay. All right.
Do
All
another
right.
strength check.
Gotcha. All right. So you slam him with that. He takes 23 points of damage from both your maul, also from the shackles. It lurches back. Now it's going to go to attack you. As it makes an attack, give me another perception check.
Um, we ain't seen.
You ain't seen it. All right. All right. Now here's the thing. One thing about this Yeti, they don't like fire. It actually is going to get disadvantage on its attacks because it took fire damage.
I think it's restrained, isn't it?
It can still attack. What is this restrained?
Oh, can it? Let me look it up just to make
Why
sure.
don't you look up the restrained condition? I believe he has disadvantage on his attacks, but I believe he can still attack.
Let me see here.
We're gonna roll the attack just in case.
I should have looked this up before.
Well,
Okay, restrained. Here we go. Yeah, they have disadvantage.
disadvantage.
Basically, the speed becomes 0.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Does a 17 hit you?
Yes.
It does. Okay. So the 17 is going to hit you. He is going to basically claw at you for 11, 13 damage. Is there anything you want to do?
13 damage. Let me see. Yeah.
This would be
Yeah, I'll invoke my Stone's Endurance.
Stone's Endurance. All right, so this is your Goliath ability as a reaction. So what you're going to do now is roll a d12 plus 3, and we're going to reduce that. So 13 is the total number, the total damage. And then let's see what you subtract it by. You're going to subtract 12.
12.
So you took
Yeah.
1 point of damage. Actually, let me ask a question. Are you resistant to cold damage?
Yes.
So half that damage
Well,
was
it'd be
cold.
half.
So half that damage was cold. So
Okay.
using your Stone's Endurance, you took no damage. So between your Goliath ability to take your resistance to cold damage and then using the Stone's Endurance, that he goes to slash at you, you take 0 damage. Now that's his first attack. He's going to try to claw at you with his second attack. Now this is with disadvantage. The 19 is going to hit again. So this is going to be the D6 for the actual attack. And it will be so 6 points of piercing damage, and then another d6 of cold damage. Now this is the one that's halved, so 5, so it would be 4, so you take 2 damage. Okay, so you take 6 points and then 2, so a total of 8 points of damage. Okay, so you take 8 points of damage.
All right.
Okay, so that's going to be it for his turn. Now is your turn.
Let's see. I'll hit him again.
All right, so just maul him again. Okay.
Yeah. So this is restrain things. You get advantage on.
Oh, so okay, so you get advantage on this attack. Okay.
Oh, wait, you know what? I forgot something last time. That's all right.
11 plus 5 is going to be a 16. That will be enough to hit.
Okay.
So another 2d6 plus 3.
3d6. Giant's might.
That's right, Giant's might. 3d6. And you should have done an extra d6 last turn.
That's all right.
It's okay.
Not a big deal.
All right, so 13 plus
16.
16. All right, so you hit him, and because he's shackled, he can't resist. He basically can't dodge out of the attack, so you just line up another attack. What does it look like as you drop the Yeti?
Ooh. Let's just slam him in the head.
Okay, so he can't move basically because of these chains that are on him. You take that maul and just bring it over his head. His head crushes and basically disappears under the weight of the maul, and just blood just shatters out from under, and it falls to the ground. Now, as it falls to the ground, you're dancing back and forth. You realize you are only like 15 feet from the edge of this chasm. Fortunately, y'all, you locked him up further up, and neither one of you got pushed over the side. So you end up dropping the Yeti. The Yeti falls down dead in front of you. What do you want to do at this point?
Let's see. I'm at 23. Let me. I'll take a second wind.
Okay. Right.
Burning through all my abilities.
Go for it.
D10 plus 3.
Okay. All right.
8.
So
okay.
I'm back up. Back up to full. All right. So at this point, you have defeated the Yeti on the side of the mountain, and now you're moving forward. Is there anything you want to do at this point?
I'm going to look up at the eye and just see if there's anything.
You do see a flicker in the same eye. It's like a blue flicker.
Okay. It just goes and then goes away.
Yeah, it flickers. And it seems larger than you thought at first.
Okay. Right. I'm just going to be very slow and cautious now that I know things are up here, waiting and living.
Okay.
As best I can to just be alert.
Do you want to why don't you use a survival check and see if you can see if there's any tracks or anything around you? So I'm just kind of thinking like what your character would be. He's looking around for anything else.
Straight up.
All right, so you do see other tracks that looks like this size. There might have been a second one somewhere.
Okay. Tracks are...
They're all about the snow. The wind is pushed over, but it definitely looks like there's been more than one, possibly two.
Okay. All right, so I'll make my way up this winding path here.
As you make your way up the winding path, again, the wind howls over as it's kicking over. Now, a normal person would have to like bury down, even make strength checks or whatever to get past this. You just pass through this without a problem. Now, you're about to enter this massive cave. Is there anything that you want to do before you enter this cave, or just go for it?
If possible. How long is a short rest? 10 minutes?
It's usually about 10 to 15 minutes. Do you want to take a rest before you head in?
Yeah. Let me do that.
Is there anything you want to
Yeah,
do
all my
before?
abilities.
All right, so I hear you. So basically, you get up. You're at the side of this. You're in the shadow of this giant. If you look here, there's like these giant crags here on the picture. You could easily duck behind those and kind of like rest before you move into the rest of it. You do that, and as you rest, the wind howls. The snow is coming down so heavily that the only thing that could have seen you at this point would have to be something that is sniffing you or actively tracking you. You feel, even though you're huge, you're basically found a way to kind of get behind these. And again, remember, this is your home turf. This is you're very used to this type of terrain, even though you've never been up here. This is still definitely your home. So you're able to hide there for a while to rest, to rejuvenate, and then what all comes back on a short rest? Now, um,
Um,
Stone's endurance.
basically, yes.
Okay. What
Second wind.
second wind?
Um, Giant's Might you have two of, but it's long rest.
So you still
So I
have
have
one
one
more.
left
You have
of
one more
that.
of those. Okay.
And the runes come back.
And so yeah, your fire rune comes back. Okay. All right. Perfect. So now you continue moving forward after your short rest, and you get to this cave. Now, the closer you get to the cave, there's this ambient, like blue light that fills the cave, which is good because you don't really, you can't. That's one of your weaknesses. You don't see well in the dark. But as you get to the
Yeah.
inside of this cave, it's illuminated by this blue light. As you're looking about, you hear this giant flapping coming from the inside, and you notice something, and you immediately draw back. There's this giant blue fiery bird that is living in this cave. You're not 100% sure what this is, but I will give you this. Give me a nature check to see if you know what this is.
Okay.
That's a big
It's a
flaming
bird.
bird. You just see a big flaming bird that is living in this cave. It looks something like this.
That's awesome.
All right, so you are in the cave. You see this thing flying about. It is quite large, and even from here, you can feel the heat of the cave is warm compared to what you were outside. So, what do you want to do inside the cave with this massive bird?
Um, Looking about, does the path go anywhere else, or is this basically the terminus of the
You
cave?
basically
Like this
it's
is
determined. So basically, you take this up, and eventually it just opens up into this giant chasm. That it looks like it's really strange. While you were first looking at this cave, this skull-looking cave, you thought dwarves, somebody had carved it out. As you get up and look around, and it's frozen, it feels like this might actually be a gigantic skull of something like a titan from years ago. Like it looks like, wait, no, this is actually a skull.
since the bird it's flying around.
Correct. So basically, now that you think it's a skull, you're walking in. It's basically like the top part of where the cranium is where this thing has basically nested.
Gotcha. I'm thinking to myself, if I'm tasked to find the flame of the giant's maw, this might be it. Um, Hate to kill the bird, but if that's what I'm tasked with, I'm going to
It
do it.
is fairly large and on fire.
Yeah. Um, all right. So I want to attack. I mean, does it look sentient at all, or is it just like a beast?
It's sitting up in its nest, and
Does
the
it
light
notice me at all?
not currently.
Oh man.
It's up on a ledge. It is nesting. There's light emanating. What do you wish to
All
do?
right. I'm just going to say, um, come face me.
You're gonna taunt it.
And yeah, I'm going to pull out the maul and be like, flame of the giant's maw, come face me.
That sounded fairly intimidating. Give me an intimidation
It's-
check. Give me an
You
intimidation.
can intimidate a bird.
Let's just see.
We'll try.
Let's just try.
All right. Get a +2. All right.
Okay. It's a 9, but I do have to make my opposing roll. It is not intimidated. So as soon as it immediately flaps its wings up and looks down at you and lets loose this breath weapon of this blue flame out of it's not a breath weapon. Let me take it back. He's flapping his wings and the flame from the wings are basically cascading through. So make a dexterity saving throw, which I know is a strength for you. It's really strong for you.
It is.
All right, so
that's gonna be. I'm gonna be toasty.
Yeah. All right. So you have 14 points of fire damage coming at you. Would you like to use a reaction?
Is there anything else in here?
As you
look, is it just me and the bird?
You just see the bird.
Okay. Then I am going to. Let me use my stone's endurance.
I think that's wise.
Yeah. Yeah. 12 plus 3.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait. So it was 15 and you just took 13 off of it. That ability is so good. All right, so yeah. Even though it hit you, you basically just like pull your maul up in and you just kind of take the brunt of it. And between the maul being in front of you and your armor, you just kind of soak part of the heat and you just kind of toughen it out. Now roll initiative with the flaming bird. It rolls a 14. And you rolled a 19.
Didn't see it roll on my screen.
It's a 19. All right, so it is up in the air. A good,
okay.
We'll say 20 feet in the air.
Okay.
What do you want to do against the flaming bird?
Well, first I'm gonna Giant's Might.
Okay, so bonus action, giant. All right, so you're bigger now. So now you're, it's not quite as far away. It's 18 feet away now. I'm curious to see what you think.
So it's nesting up. Can I climb up to it? Could I try to climb?
It's basically perched on the edge of the nest now. So there's like this ledge where the nest is. He's perched on the edge of it, flapping his wings. So you could just give you some options. We're trying to keep this theater of the mind. You could run and leap at it. You could throw something at it. You could run. You could hide. Let me ask you a question. Read the Fire Rune ability. Is it melee or does it work on a ranged attack?
It just says on a hit.
Oh, so you could use that on a ranged attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me make sure. When you hit a creature with an attack using a weapon.
All right, so it is fire damage, which probably won't be too good, but it could shackle him.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw hand axe at it.
Yeah. Okay, so you can pull a hand axe out and throw it at it. Okay. All right, roll.
Yeah.
I like this idea. So you quickly pull out a hand axe, you throw it in the air, and 18 will hit. All right, so you have hit it with the hand axe. So are you going to try to use the shackle on it?
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we're going to do now.
Definitely.
So you're going to do a D6. I'm going to let you get the extra D6 with the Giant's Might because I'm going to say you're using strength to throw this thing. I kind of treat hand axe as kind of like a javelin. So it's a D6 for the hand axe. It's another D6 for Giant's Might. Now don't roll the 2D6 for the fire damage. It's immune to it. So, but it will be the shackles will hit it. So it'll be 2D6 plus 3 damage. Another D6. So 4 plus 4, so 8, 11 damage. All right, so that thing hits directly in it. As soon as it hits, feathers fly out. Now, when the feathers fly out, they land on the ground, and the flame of the bird itself, the feathers are on fire on the ground. So the fire from it lands on the ground. So you see, it gives you more light in the room as these feathers hit the ground, and now they're lit. And you look and you see this thing. Now the shackles are on it. It now has to make a strength saving throw of a 13. It's not a good thing for it. It comes down to the ground. So the shackles actually pull the thing down to the ground. It's now its turn. It's pulled down in front of you. It is restrained. Now, because it's restrained, it cannot get to you. So it's just going to try to flap its wings again. Actually, let me check that. No, it will just... this is interesting. It can't actually do anything.
Am I too far away?
You're too far away for it to claw at you.
Okay.
It did not recharge its flame buffet or buffet or whatever it is, the flame buffet. So he can't actually do anything other than it's a beast. It's basically just trying to get out of the chains around it, and it can't try again until its next turn. So what do you want to do? You've basically dropped this thing to the ground with a hand axe.
I'm going to go and just try to maul it with the maul.
Okay, so you're just going to step up to it and try to hit it with the maul. All right. It's restrained, so you get advantage on this attack.
2d20.
Oh, God, I saw the 20 just barely miss. All right, so
all right,
go... What?
All right, hold on. I'll action surge and try again.
There you go. There you go. So you missed the first one. You're going to action surge and swing again. Okay, so roll with advantage.
Yeah.
Much better.
That's more like it.
That'll hit. All right, so now you got 3d6 plus 3 damage.
It's 3. Let's re-roll the 1.
Re-roll the 1. Man, that's nice. So 4, 8, 13. That's 16 damage. All right. You land this massive attack into the side of this thing. Its entire right shoulder breaks and crushes. Its wing drops to the ground as it's screaming and like clawing at you as you land this attack. All right. So now it's its turn. You are close enough now for it to try to claw at you. It will also try to get out of the...
right.
Actually, that'll be at the end.
Shackles.
So the first thing it's going to do is try to claw you. So here's the first claw attack. 20 will hit. All right.
Yeah.
For a massive 7 points of damage. This is piercing. Okay. And then the second claw attack will miss. All right, so you basically take the first claw attack, which was, what did we say, 7 damage. And then the second one misses as it's kind of clawing at you. Does it recharge? No, it doesn't. And then it will try to break free of the shackles, which it does not. He's still shackled.
Okay. All right, let's swing again.
Okay. All right, roll for it. It is still restrained, so you do roll with advantage. 15 plus 5 is 20. You hit it, so roll 3d6 plus 3 damage.
Reroll 1.
That ability is so buggy. So 21 points of damage. So after crushing this first attack, pulling back, it claws at you. You immediately attack it again. You crush the other shoulder, so both of its wings drop at this point. It drops all the way to the ground. It is down. You have downed it. It is still
and that fire
flaming. Yeah, but you're feeling the heat come off of it. Your weapon itself is hot, but you're just kind of manning through it to try to, or Goliathing through it to kind of continue hitting it. So you have dropped the big blue flaming bird, and now what do you want to do? And just so we remember.
I'll just kind of study it to see exactly what I should be taking. It says the flame of the maul, right? Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, the Oracle, this Galma Spirit Walker, told you that the Sovereign back in Waterdeep had asked for someone from your tribe to bring them the flame of the giant's maw. Now, they can't obviously mean this giant bird, but as you're looking about, right, the feathers are still on fire.
Okay. I don't know if I want to try to touch them.
How are you going to carry the feathers?
I guess I'll just kind of...
It's hot to the touch. All right, so as you go down, the feathers itself are on fire, but the stem of it you pick up while it's warm. You could actually pick up the feather like this. So the top of it is on fire, but you can pick this up. Now, as it's not as brilliant, but it is still on. It is still maintaining the flame.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pick up as many of those as I can if
Okay.
there are multiple.
There are several. Yeah, you can pluck it at this point. All right, so you pick up several of these feathers. Doing the best you can. You then move away from the bees. Is there anything else that you want to do while you're still in this cave?
You know what? I'll shimmy up while I'm still big and just look in the nest,
You look
get
in
a
the
little
nest
peek.
and you do see one large blue egg.
Ooh, I don't know if I should take that or not. I'll take it and ask the Oracle. If not, I
Okay.
can always bring it
All
back.
right, so you basically get your backpack. You pick up the egg. It itself is warm and kind of hot to the touch. You're able to slide that into your backpack, and at that point, you have the backpack around your. I don't know how you're gonna basically string these feathers and kind of. You could string it onto your long sword and have it
Yeah.
hang off the pommel of your longsword, basically, to kind of keep it away from you. And then that way you can basically go back. So at this point, we're going to kind of fast forward. So you have retrieved the egg. You have retrieved these feathers, like a almost like a bouquet of these flaming feathers, and you leave the cave. And you are now ready to return and begin the descent back down the mountain. Now, at this, darkness is coming, but you are lit up with the flame of these feathers that you have, and you're basically using that as a light source as you begin to climb back down the cliff. Now, for the sake of brevity and for the sake of narratively, we'll just kind of continue down that you manage to climb back down the mountain using your hand axes. And actually, yeah, so yeah, both hand axes. You have both hand axes as you come down, as you climb back down the mountain. You return to your village, which is the Titan's Hearth, with a mighty tale to tell of how you not only bested the beast of the mountain, this yeti, but also you killed this flaming bird, which you later found out was this strange blue phoenix, is what they called it. And these feathers are what was intended to be retrieved. Now, the egg is an added boon to the village, and the chieftain and the oracle have asked that, if possible, would you be interested in leaving the egg for the village?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna show it off. Yeah,
Right,
for
right.
my
So now
trophy.
you
Yeah.
are like the champion of the village. As you've retrieved this giant egg, and that Arabarun, the chieftain, they march and parade you through the town. Begrudgingly, all of the people that you had bested in the crucible of a flame to have this right to win this day, they begrudgingly cheer your name. Is it Vimak? Valanavi, and you are now the champion of the village. And now your next task is to take this and travel to Waterdeep. Now, outside of Waterdeep is a small hamlet that you'll find, and there you are going to find this person, this Miles Hothamore, who apparently is this guild, the leader of the Sovereign Guild. They're the ones that have called in this favor, this age old favor, to rally their followers. So the villagers, and particularly Galma, the oracle, is very interested in why they are calling something in that is literally thousands of years old and should almost be forgotten to time. But for some reason, they have called out for this. And she leaves you with this. Before you leave, Otter Baroon hands you this satchel. And he hands you this satchel and he goes, take this as a prize for your day. You may be able to store many things in it, and also inside you will find a stone. If you put that stone into fire, you will be able to communicate with us. We are very interested in knowing why they have called you and what it is that they determined to do. We will also consult with the fire giants and see why this may be. Maybe they will have more knowledge in this. So you basically have this giant bag. It's a satchel. It's a bag of holding for, so we'll add to your characters. You have a bag of holding, and you have a sending stone that is activated through flame. It looks like just a regular rock, and it's only to be used. Basically, it's a way to two-way communicate between you and the chieftain Rune back at the village. With that, you will begin the arduous journey of crossing not only down the spine of the world, through the Neverwinter Wood, but also finding a way to set sail or to travel through land or through caravan to Waterdeep. And that is where the next game will pick up. Will be you traveling to this hamlet outside of Waterdeep, looking for Miles Hothamore, who apparently is the last contact that they have of this guild of the Sovereign. So that is where this is our intro prologue to the game. It's an intro to your character, and I'm excited. I'm already seeing some ideas whirling about what we can do with a Rune Knight. So, what are you feeling about the Rune Knight? We got to use a lot of your abilities really quick,
dude. It's incredible. I think paired with a Goliath, I mean, you can shrug off damage. You can do tons of extra damage. You can incapacitate, or not incapacitate, but
the restrain.
Whatever.
We need to look up. There's a lot of cool abilities we can look at. We need to look up at the restrain and see. There might be some interesting mechanical things we can do with some of the other characters. So we still have two more characters to introduce. We'll meet Laz and Wes's character in our next game as you travel, and all three of you will be playing new subclasses from Tasha's, which we're excited about. So with that, we're going to end it for tonight. For those of you watching, if you want to join our Discord, I'll put a link to the bottom. I'm actually going to put up story notes in our Discord so you can kind of see pictures and the stories of all the NPCs and of the characters. You can also interact with our community. We do builds and just kind of chat about D&D stuff in general. We're also really big OSR Appendix N nerds, so if you want to go and talk, Danny actually is a huge Appendix N nerd, so if you want to read old fantasy and talk about, Lovecraft or Robert Howard or anything like that, we love doing that kind of stuff. So with that, join us to check out the link below, and until next time, keep rolling with advantage. Thanks.